I've managed to stay in some of Thailand's most luxurious hotels, even when I was completely broke. Thailand is home to some of the best hotels in the world, and you can experience them too without breaking the bank. In this video, I'll show you which places have the best cheap luxury hotels, how I've stayed in high-end hotels for as low as $35 per night, as well as the 5 tricks that you can use to experience 5-star resorts in Thailand without breaking the bank. But first, let me show you around this luxury resort that I'm staying in right now. It's one that I've managed to save over $400 a night on by following the 5 tips that I'll show you in this video. It's a chain that's known to be visited by celebrities from around the world and has been used as the filming location for the Netflix movie Mother of the Bride. It's a beautiful beachside hotel. One of the things I like about it is the big, spacious garden area that's fun to walk around. This hotel had one of the best breakfasts that I've ever had in a hotel. Probably the coolest part was when they had their own street food noodle stand there every morning. The pool was really nice to relax by, and they even had their own parrot. The rooms were huge and had a balcony overlooking a small pond, and it had an enormous bathtub to relax in. Overall, this is one of the better hotels that I've ever stayed in. So let's start with tip 1. So my first tip will not only get you cheaper deals on luxury resorts, you'll also be able to get a much more personalized experience and with a higher chance of getting your room upgraded. To save big when planning a luxury stay, it's important to avoid peak travel times. The busiest times of the year to visit Thailand are between the end of November to the beginning of February, as this is generally the time with the best weather throughout the country, but it's also when most people are celebrating their Christmas or New Year break. There's also another spike during the summer, but this is a bit more spread out, so you might have a bit more wiggle room to find a good deal. For example, at the time of filming this video, it's the end of July, and I've managed to find a good deal on this place, so it's still doable. To get the biggest benefits, consider traveling during Thailand's off-season, which runs from February to June. Luxury resorts often slash their prices about 50% during this time, and they may even upgrade you because some of the higher quality rooms are available, and they want you recommending their hotel, right? But you also need to avoid traveling during the Thai national holidays. The biggest holidays to avoid are Songkran, which takes place mid-April every year, Chinese New Year, which uses the lunar calendar, so falls on a different day every year, but usually falls between the end of January and the end of February, as well as Loi Krathong and Yipen, which take place in November. During these times, you're going to see an increase in Thai tourism because lots of people are on holiday, but also many people travel from around the world at this time to visit during these holidays. If possible, I'd also avoid the weekends because they're going to be busier periods. Tip 2. Now for some people, choosing the time of year to travel might not be an option. But my next tip will help you save big no matter what time of year you travel. In fact, it saved me 50% on this hotel right here. It can also get you better availability, especially on the cheaper rooms in the resorts, a higher chance of discounts, and help you avoid last-minute price hikes. By planning ahead, you can lock in lower room rates and have a wider range of rooms to choose from. This is why I say it's better for cheaper rooms in resorts, because they're generally the quickest ones to fill up. I know that I've sometimes left booking a little bit too late, and only the deluxe suites are left, which is usually out of my price range. Luckily, in most high-end resorts, even the cheaper rooms are high quality. You don't even have to book that far in advance though. We only booked this room a few weeks ago, and I checked the prices again the day before we came, and the price had doubled. It is occasionally possible to get a last-minute deal. If, for example, you're traveling outside of peak season and the hotel is under capacity, they might offer discounts to make sure they reach capacity. But this is Thailand and places fill up, so it's far more likely that the hotel raises their prices in the last minute to take advantage of late bookers. No matter when you're booking though, you could always choose to work with me to plan your trip. After almost 10 years of travel in Thailand, my wife and I have expert knowledge of the country and would love to work with you to plan your trip of a life. Get in touch through the link below. But what if you're watching this video and you have no control over when you travel and you've already left it too late to book? Well, the next tip is the most actionable and arguably most important tip on the list, and it concerns where to book your hotels. First, I want to take you to the most luxurious island in Thailand, Phuket. Phuket is famous for its stunning beaches and vibrant nightlife, and it boasts the highest concentration of luxury hotels in Thailand. Here you'll find some of the swankiest beachfront hotels that you'll ever see, but here's the catch. Because it's so popular, it's also one of the most expensive places to stay. It's not just luxury hotels that are expensive here. Hotels are prime real estate on the island, so hotels in general are just more expensive. A while back I stayed there over Christmas on Kata Beach, and for a pretty basic hotel on the beachfront, it cost over 5,000 baht a night, which is around $140, which is much more than what I'm paying now. In fact, for this hotel right here, I'm paying around 3,000 baht per night. But in the equivalent room in Phuket, which is under the same brand with the same amenities at the same time, it costs around 18,000 baht or around $500, which means for more or less the same hotel experience, I've saved 15,000 baht, which is $420 per night, which over the course of this free night stay is around $1,260 saved. Ka-ching. Koh Samui too is an island that has similarly high prices, so I would also look elsewhere. In general, the further north you go, the cheaper the hotels are. Again, this is not just relevant to luxury hotels, but to hotels in general. Even though Bangkok is the capital city and therefore the real estate should be higher, I've actually found that hotels there are quite reasonable. If you're looking for good deals on a beach location, I would consider looking at the Strat Islands. These islands are definitely less developed for tourism, but have some of the most luxurious resorts in the country at very reasonable prices. These islands include Koh Chang, Koh Mak, and Koh Kood. Koh Kood in particular seems to have a lot of high-end resorts and stunning secluded beaches. Right now, I'm at Hua Hin, which is just a few hours drive away from Bangkok, which has allowed me to take advantage of the much lower prices than in the south of the country. But the best deals to be had in the country definitely exist in the north of Thailand. And once I've explained my final 2 tips, I'll show you how I got the best deal I've ever had in Thailand in Pai, right at the top of the country. Did you come to Thailand to escape from the world? Do you want to experience secluded beaches and peaceful mountains? Tip 4 will not only save you money, it will put you in touch with Thailand's most beautiful nature spot and give you a peaceful atmosphere where there's nothing to do but enjoy the beautiful hotel that you stay in. If you think about the practicalities of building and maintaining a 5-star luxury resort, one of the major costs of building them is the location. Real estate in the middle of a city is going to be far more expensive. So by building their resorts in more secluded locations, they can save money, which translates to lower prices for guests, but also having the space and freedom to build some stunning resorts. I once stayed at Santaya Tree in Koh Chang, which was nestled in a beautiful setting with a mountain backdrop, beside a river that you could rent kayaks to paddle down, as well as having its own private beach. And the one I'm staying in right now is about an hour's walk from the city center, which means it can have its own stunning private beach and the space to create a really beautiful hotel. So tip 4 is to look at hotels that are not in the city center. Now this has an obvious disadvantage. How can you explore the region if you're staying far away from everything? And that's true. But I would argue if you're staying in a resort like the one I'm in now, you don't want to spend your time outside of it. I mean, there's plenty to do within the resort and you want to get your money's worth, right? This might require you to be a bit strategic about your planning. For example, when I visited Pai in northern Thailand, I wanted to spend a few nights in the town center where I could enjoy the bustling markets, the street food, and have a few too many beers in the evening. So I booked something cheap in the city, which allowed me to save a little money, but because I didn't actually want to spend much time there, it was perfect for me. But then we moved to a hotel that was about a 20-minute drive out of the city, one which when combined with my next tip allowed me to find the best bargain that I've ever had in Thailand. Let me tell you about this hotel. Like I said, it was in Pai in northern Thailand, and it was set up on the side of a mountain. Now this area is famous for its hot springs, but where most guests visit the public hot springs where they have to share a bath with other groups of tourists, this hotel had its own private hot spring bath. Not only that, but these private hot spring rooms overlooked a stream and the rice paddy fields that northern Thailand is famous for. This was one of the most unique and relaxing hotels I've ever stayed in, and it only cost me around 1,500 baht per night, which is only around $35 US. Well, I followed some, but not all of the rules from earlier. This was in northern Thailand, so it was cheaper, and it was also about a 25-minute drive from the town center. But it was during peak season because it was right at the beginning of January, and we still managed to get it for a low price. And that's because I used the ultimate travel hack to explore Thailand's luxury hotels on a budget. So what's the trick? Usually when people think of luxury hotels, they think of name brand hotels like Anantara or the Mandarin Oriental, but this was none of those. Because the tourism sector is such a huge part of the economy in Thailand, and it's a great way for people to make a living here, some Thais have invested their savings into setting up boutique hotels, some of which are absolutely stunning. Not only that, but they're generally much cheaper than the name brand hotels. They also offer a more authentic local experience. Some of them may actually be owned and run by a family who will serve local food and be better informed about their culture, as well as more personalized service and attention to detail, and offer discounts for longer stays. These hotels can be a little tricky to find because sometimes they don't have much of a web presence, but when you find the right one, you can get unbelievable deals. But knowing how to get good deals on hotels means nothing if you end up staying in the wrong part of town. Make sure you don't ruin the start of your trip to Thailand by watching this video to find out where not to stay in Bangkok.